between knowing nothing and knowing everything, there's a zone. And that's exactly where we sit. Not experts, just curious about the world. Welcome to the Buffer Zone. I'm your host Shivam, alongside my co host Shabazz. Welcome to our fourth episode. We are incredibly honored to have with us Mr. Aman Hundal, one of the Canada's leading geopolitical experts. Hello, sir. Thank you for joining the Buffer Zone podcast, especially during times which I believe is most volatile for the Canada's foreign policy. Hi, sir. How are you?
Good. Thank you, Shivam, and thank you, Shabazz, for inviting me.
The pleasure is all ours, sir. Now, before we dive into the deep end, I want to give you and our listeners a quick framework as to how the discussion today will go through. We structure the interview into four segments, and we'll be asking one foundational question for each. Segment one will discuss the Canada US relations. We'll be looking at the special relationship, or as some people might say, what's left of it. Segment two, the Indian reset under Mark Carney. We'd like to explore how Prime Minister Carney managed to pivot the diplomatic deep freeze from the Trudeau era to a $2.6 billion uranium deal in just a matter of months. The third segment will involve, again, Canada's foreign policy under Carney, but this time we'll be taking a closer look at the current stance of Canada, especially with regards to security and alliance politics. Segment 4 will deal with Canada's global identity. So that will be the time we'll look at the big picture. Is Canada becoming a multi-aligned power? And then we will talk about your new strategy of strategic autonomy.
Thank you, Shabazz, for briefing us. Now that you have laid down the roadmap, let me dive directly into it. So we all know historically, US and Canada have always shared a very special bond, a successful partnership, if I may, defined by the 1965 Otto Pact or the Single Military Command over North American airspace. But today we have moved on from that special relationship to Washington publicly questioning if Canada should even exist as a separate entity. So, sir, this 51st state annexation rhetoric from Washington, how do you see that? Because it seems like US is now seeing Canada as an obstacle to its American first policy, or is it just the tough love diplomacy where they're trying to scare Ottawa to align with them? What are your views, sir?
Well, thank you very much, Shivam. Canada and U.S. relationships have been very strong, and for many, many years, uh, Canada is has the only bordering country, which is the United States, and our borders are 3,000 miles long. And most importantly, 90% of the population just lives within those 90-mile horizontal line. So that's what I'm saying is we are like sisters, or you can even say US being a superpower, they are big brother to us. We rely on them. They rely on us. Our is with the US. It's been a very healthy relationship. It still is. These are tough times, especially due to the tariff policy, which has been brought up by the new administration. A little bit turbulent times. We have to diversify our trade partnerships around the world. And Mr. Carney, the Prime Minister, is doing a really good job on that. He's been negotiating throughout the world. And he has visited many countries. We are a member of G7, G8 nations, other organizations throughout. But as far as you're saying, the 51st state, this is not the first time that this issue has popped up. This has also happened previously from time to time. Uh, Canada is a sovereign country. We are self reliant, we are self sufficient, we are the highly educated population in the world. We have resources which are in abundance. Our supply chain is really one of the top-notch ones. And even if you go into minerals and resources, oil, anything you pick up from uranium to sulfur to zinc to magnesium, oil, petroleum products, we are always in top 10 out of the 203 countries, depending on the timing, 203 countries or 204 countries. We've been always at the top and we are at the top.
Right. I think we have got some background on like what Canada thinks about their relationship with USA. Sir, I'd like to divert your attention a bit to India. India and Canada haven't had the smoothest relationship in recent years. During the time of former PM of Canada, Justin Trudeau, things became quite tense, especially around the Khalistan issue. That became a major point of friction between the two countries. But now, with Mark Carney stepping in, we are starting to see a shift. He recently visited India, started talks on economic deals, and the trade is getting, amplified in the coming years. There's also been movement on the energy front. Canada has agreed to supply uranium for several years to come to India, which is huge in rebuilding trust and cooperation. No doubt about that. My question to you is this reset by Carney driven by economic interests, geopolitical pressure, or domestic politics in Canada, considering Canada has a massive Indian diaspora?
Mr. Carney, by profession, as you all know, he's an economist. He was the governor of Bank of Canada, and he is such an intelligent person that he was also the governor of the Bank of England. Is the any person from another country being leading your financial institution, that means the guy knows economics. Uh, and having said that, recent times, which are little hard times, it's not easy on Canadians seeing the economy the way it is, and especially seeing our reliance on US. Like 80% of our trade was with US. But we had really good relationships. So at this time, diversification is really important, and India and China and United States, these are the three biggest economies, or we can say the emerging economies. What I'm emphasizing on is if you look at the numbers within the next 25 years or so, these will be the major powers: India, US, and China. So India and Canada have really great relationships throughout. There were turbulent times from time to time because India has its own foreign policy. Canada is a friendly country. If you even go with the numbers in India, population of the Sikh community, the Sikh population is 1.7% of your total population proportionally. In Canada, it's 2.3%, right? So, uh, and economically seeing, it's really important if to have jobs, to have growth, and reliance on one partner. Seeing what is happening around the world is getting a little difficult. Uh, Mr. Carney even had a visit to China. He visited the Philippines. He has visited UAE. He was in Saudi Arabia. He has had many visits to Europe. So we are open for trade, fair trade. And India is one of the countries which I think both countries can mutually benefit, and the relationships which were little turbulent during times, as you said, Mr. Trudeau's times, Mr. Carney, being a bigger man, tried to mend them. And I think it's a good start. The trade agreements, our trade minister has been here multiple times. Our foreign affairs minister has been, Anita Anand has been here multiple times. The diplomatic relationships have been reset. The embassy is now fully functional in both countries. We signed around $30 billion of trade agreements. Now, as far as the uranium question is, uranium is if it's used for good purposes, it can do miracles too, right? So it can be used for energy purposes, which India needs quite a bit at this time. And then we also are going to deal with oil, crude oil, petroleum, rare minerals. In return, India, because seeing the harsh conditions in Canada, uh, food and fresh produce can be sent from here to there. Seeing the population over there proportionally, the cultures are there. The Indian population is growing over there, so the businesses can benefit from them and on global scale. And that's the whole purpose. It's a good start. And I think it depends on both parties. And I'm pretty sure and I'm confident there are other issues which are underlying, which can be sorted out mutually at the table. Uh, Trust should be there, faith should be there, and then the both parties. And I believe in win-win situations. Like there's always a little bit of give and take. Rigidity doesn't work anymore. It's both parties have to see something in it. And Mr. Carney, I think, saw something in it. That's why we initiated it. Economically, it'll be quite a bit of benefit for both the countries.
Sir, thank you for your answer. I had a thought. You made a very interesting point regarding Mr. Mark Carney being the bigger person, as you rightly said, and who over Trudeau, who actually dealt with this issue. You can say to create a situation which is win-win for both countries. So my follow-up would be, if a situation like a Khalistani issue, comes back into the mainstream media again in Canada, how do you think Mark Carney will deal with it as compared to how it was dealt with before?
Uh, Canada is a big champion on human rights. Right? We have a Charter of Rights. Under the Charter of Rights, every Canadian is protected. There is no second class citizen in Canada. As far as our citizens are concerned, it's priority for Canadians, and the leadership of Canada will stand by its citizens. But within that framework, whatever is under our Charter of Rights, that is freedom of speech, equality, no discrimination against race, color, race, religion, equal opportunity. But if there are any issues which you are saying will pop up, and I think will pop up because there are some concerns with certain groups, and the best thing is to sort them out, uh, sit at the table, see what's happening, bring everything honestly on the table, and hash it out. And I think communication, if it's there, honesty, if it's there, fairness, if it's there, and under the charter, if every Canadian is protected and our rights are not compromised, which I think Mr. Carney will not let that happen, because those are Canadian values and he stands by Canadian values.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable insights. And also, it's good to see your optimistic approach for the relations that both the country hold. Now I would like to draw your attention towards the war that the world is witnessing. Recently, during the Strait of Hormuz blockade that we saw, uh, the Washington was kind of pressuring and framing this situation like almost a loyalty test for his allies to come in and open the blockade. Prime Minister Carney chose not to intervene militarily, but to offer support through safe passage and everything. So, what do you think? Like, is this middle ground approach relevant in today's America First environment, or is it going to, reinforce the view in Washington that Canada is no longer a fully aligned ally of US?
No, we are. It's nothing about in those terms. We are aligned with the policies, and this is not the first. And Canada is a sovereign country. Like Canada is a country. It's a strong country. We have a great social, economic, and military build up. We take pride in our peacekeeping missions around the world. Wherever the NATO countries stand, we do. We are part of it. And it's not the first time that Canada has said no. Mr. Kretschmer, when he was the prime minister during the Gulf War in Iraq, Mr. Kretschmer said no, and we didn't go to Iraq. There was a little bit of sourness at that time, but they understood that what's the role of Canadians. Canadians are peace-loving people. Canadians are full of love and full of heart. Canadians believe in open communication and a dialogue at the table. And if there be need, and if we see there is a situation where we have to intervene, there are a lot of other ways of going around in diplomatic forms. Canada can be in the middle. Canada can be in diplomatic forms, or any discussions between the two countries. Even in Afghanistan, when the NATO forces were there, Canadian General Andrew Leslie was the commander in chief of the NATO forces. So it's not that Canada is backing off, or Canada has never stood for anything like that. But Canadians are basically peace loving people, and we try to make things through communication and through dialogue. And again, force and violence is not part of Canada. Canadians are not violent, and we are not power hungry. And that, I think US will understand that, and should understand that we as a sovereign country have a right to say what we believe in and what we see around, and what is best for Canadians and best for the world. And we protect our people, but we also do take care of others. It's we but depending on what is happening, and at this time, I think Mr. Carney said it's not the right time to indulge into it. But talking about Afghanistan, we were there, and we were the commander in chief. Iraq war, Mr. Kretschmer said no. So let's see what happens.
Right, right. Um, Interesting to note. I think we covered in the last episode India moving towards this strategy of what we call it as a strategic autonomy. I think Canada is also going along the same route, where the focus of the nation is on interests rather than picking a side. Right. It's more about what is in the interest of Canadians or Indians rather than picking a side blindly. So very interesting, to observe that both the countries are having a similar kind of policy. And sir, lastly, uh, this is a brilliant segue for my last topic, which is Canada's global identity. We have seen that US is relying heavily on tariffs and pressures, sanctions, you can call that. Canada appears to be moving towards a multi-aligned approach. We mentioned PM Carney's visit to China. We have talked about his visits to Saudi, India, of course, in March. So, in that context, how do Canadians today view the country's role in the world under the leadership of PM Carney?
The Devon speech, after that speech, Mr. Kni became a world leader. I mean, everybody applauded on that. He said, we need to be at the table, but we cannot be on the menu. So the thing is, what he's doing through an approach, which is again a win-win approach. Uh, After the tariffs, the economy was going to tank because 80% of our trade was with the US. How he managed it, being an economist, a cool headed person, how he traveled to different countries to show what Canada can do for them. And the results are in front of you. First of all, there were a lot of interprovincial bridges economically, the tax brackets, a lot of other issues, even to do trade within Canada, within different provinces. He's the first prime minister who asked all the premiers to come, let's sit at the table. Times are tough, but we have to go through this. If how we can go through this is we all have to come together. Tough times sometimes are good because it made Canadians more Canadians. We all stood up and we all are united now, more united than ever. And that is because of the leadership of Mr. Carney. Not only Canadians, the world itself is so impressed by Mr. Carney's approach to these hard times that the world has declared that he's the new leader of the world, even though we are not a superpower. We are not even close to that. But we are rich in natural resources. Even the car manufacturing, if you take all the car manufacturers, are in states. The parts which are made for those cars are made in Canada. Crude oil and other products, other minerals are in Canada, but then they're shipped to states for refining because they have refineries. We have a pipeline which goes from Alberta to states to their refineries, and the crude gets refined and used. A lot of rare minerals which are used these days in high tech machines or in a lot of artificial intelligence processing chips are in Canada. Gold,
Right.
we have the best diamonds, right? We have all the natural resources you can name, we have. This is going to turn out, but it'll take time. The bigger people, the powerful people think the power can do whatever they want, but it's not going to work like that. That's why we have institutions. Institutions are bigger than people. Why we have organizations. That's why we have a structure in place. It's a rule-based society, but we are getting too far from the rule-based system which we had. The rules cannot change in the middle of the game, right? But
Right.
the way the world is changing, everybody is trying to, whoever thinks is bigger or mightier or can suppress or thinks he's the power, changes the rule in the middle of the game. It's a just society, and we're trying to make it an unjust society. But what will prevail in the end? Turbulence is there, tough times are there. It'll take a little while, but believe me, have confidence in these middle world countries. The middle world countries have to unite. Once the middle world countries unite, there'll be a strong message which will be sent out, these so-called, whoever they are calling themselves as superpowers, that they are not this, they cannot run the show without them. We are part of the team. It's a team. Team is we complete each other, which some country, Canada can have natural resources, but we don't have produce. So we have produced from somewhere else. We don't have much manufacturing, but we rely on other partners. I'm being very positive, seeing the democratic system we have, seeing the political system we have, seeing the judicial system we have, the social system we have, caring, love, giving. Canadians are one of the best in the world. And that is what I'm going to say. And I believe in that.
That is such a breath of fresh air, I think, to hear about all this, these positive values that you talk about in the turbulent times that we all are in right now. The geopolitics, I think the geopolitical world of 2026 has been surrounded by a lot of negativity, a lot of, power tussle, you can call it, but very refreshing to hear this point of view.
Exactly. Exactly, sir. And the pointers and that you've shared is not only going to help enhance our knowledge base, but also help our audience to better form their opinion. So thank you so much. Also, with that, we have come to the end of our conversation with Mr. Aman Hundal. Thank you, sir. It was really insightful and thought-provoking, and especially getting an opinion from an expert Canadian perspective. It was really, really helpful. Help us understand the global dynamics of 2026 very well. Thank you, sir. Thank you again.
And just, I would like to add in the end that under Mr. Carney's leadership, as I said, it was a minority government. As of yesterday, Liberals have a majority government. It'll be easier to push the agenda and easier to elevate things. Priorities will be pushed faster, and then the decisions will be made quicker and efficiently and effectively for the betterment of Canadians and for the betterment of the whole world. Thank you.
Yes, yes, indeed. And just one last request. So, if you can please request our audience to like, share, and follow our podcast, that'd be great.
Yeah, I would request everybody please follow Shivam and Shabazz. They're awesome, young people who are trying to make an influence, make an impact through their voice, through a message which they bring to you. And do give them your feedback. Positive feedback is always good, and I'm pretty sure this will be of an impact to a lot of young people and to all of the people around the world and the citizens of this world. Thank you. Keep up the good work, and please keep trying. Making your voices heard and educate people as much as you can. I wish you best of the luck.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Amateurs seek the sun, get eaten. Real power lies in the shadow. This is the Buffer Zone. See you next week.